Just like to share a suite of games on fractions that I've developed. There's the fraction cover-up game that uses pattern blocks, and that particularly uses specific gear. The pattern block fractions becomes more symbolic, and then we've now got rod fractions that uses Cuisenaire rods or coloured rods, or sometimes they're referred to as fraction bars. In this case here, they have to do with related denominators, so I'll explain how that works. So if we give a value to this brown rod of 1, then you can see that this rod here is half the length. So we're always working off length. So we see that 2 halves gives me the same length as 1 whole. Likewise here, the red rod is 1/4 the length. You can see there's 4 equal pieces go along there. So a red rod would relate to 1/4 of that. And you can see that 8 white rods give me the same length as this rod here, the brown rod. So that would represent eighths. You can also see here, you start to get the idea of equivalent fractions. So I'll just move them apart. See that 4/8 is the same as 2/4 is the same as 1/2. And you can use this information to add and subtract fractions. Now, when you're adding fractions, all you do is you move a piece end on end. So this would be 1/2 plus 1/4. And you can see if you add another quarter to it, so 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, or 1/2 and 2/4 is the same length as 1. And beginning with fraction cover-up, you would spin a fraction. They're all related to the fractions that you can do using pattern blocks. So in this case, we're using area as the base idea. And you can see here that, for example, one red trapezium covers half the area of a yellow hexagon. So if we call the yellow hexagon the unit or the 1, this red piece would represent 1/2, and there are 2 equal sized pieces. Likewise here, the blue rhombus, there are 3 equal pieces would cover a yellow hexagon, so that would represent 1/3. And in this case, there are 6 of these green equilateral triangles that would cover, so that would represent 1/6. And you can start to see how you could add some fractions. So one example would be when I get 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/6, you can see that gives me the same area as 1 whole. So 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/6 equals 1 whole.